Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. Today I wanted to talk about something that I think DICE has done a really good job with in Battlefield 1 and that I think would fit extremely well in the next Battlefront game. What I'm talking about is custom games. This is something they added shortly after the release, or it might even have been there at the release, I don't quite remember. But it's basically a custom game mode that DICE creates that you can then play for a couple of weeks until it rotates to a brand new game mode. And to give you guys a couple of examples of what this could be, first off we have something called Fog of War, where basically there was fog all across the map and you could only use weapons such as pistols. So as you can imagine, it's very different compared to playing normal team deathmatch, which is the game mode you could play Fog of War on. And another one they recently added is called Back to Basics, where you can only use bolt action rifles and you play Conquest with them. So to give you a comparison to Battlefront, that would be a little bit like you could maybe only use cycler rifles and DLT-19X and then you play Walker Assault or Supremacy with them. They've had multiple of these type of game modes since the release of Battlefield 1, and I think they actually decided to keep Back to Basics as a permanent game mode due to how popular it became. So the same thing could be done with the next Battlefront game. I really think this is a very cool way for them to add new content to the game without too much effort on their side. And it keeps the game fresh all the time, especially when they rotate between these modes. But obviously if they manage to create that ideal game mode that everyone just loves, it's better if they keep it permanent than removing it after a couple of weeks. And a couple of examples of how this could work for Battlefront would be something like a DLT-19X only game mode. You only have the sharpshooter trait with the DLT-19X, nothing else. Maybe a jump pack or something like that to help you out, but I think it would be fun to focus on specific star cards or weapons that people don't use too much otherwise. It could also be a game mode where you can only use your blaster, no star cards and traits and no vehicles, or it could also be the other way around where you can only use the star cards. That would also be interesting. Maybe the scout pistol would become a viable choice due to its short cooldown. Something that I think would be quite funny but that might not be okay with Lucasfilm would be a sort of hero blast or heroes versus villains match where everyone in the same team has one hero. So let's say that we play 8 Leias versus 8 Krennics, and I guess one player in the team will be able to choose that hero and then everyone else will get that automatically. Keep in mind that these game modes doesn't need to be 100% balanced, they don't need to be that perfect game mode, but it's just something fun to change things up. And I think that considering the success they've had in Battlefield 1 with it, I don't see any reason to why they couldn't add it for the next Star Wars Battlefront game. This is obviously something that would have been a lot easier if we had server browsers where we could actually create these servers ourselves. But even if that was the case, it would still be a lot better if DICE made it like in Battlefield 1, because then it won't just be 1 or 2 servers with that specific game mode, but it will be something official that they update every 2 or 3 weeks, and again, if they find that it's extremely popular, they could make it into a permanent game mode as well. Simply put, they could add something that will add a lot of variety to the game by simply adding restrictions or small new features to the already existing game modes. It's not something where they would create a brand new game mode, but usually they take something like Supremacy or Walker Assault, or in the case of Battlefield 1 it would be Conquest or Team Deathmatch, and then they add or remove restrictions for different weapons and that kind of stuff that still makes it into a completely new game mode. Because if you play Star Wars Battlefront right now, the majority of people will be jumping around with a jump pack, they will have a Bacta bomb, maybe a shield, and then use the E11 or EE4. So that's what 95% of the people are using. Just imagine if you put some restrictions on that, it would be like a brand new game. So I really hope that they will add the option to either do it ourselves or by adding custom game modes like they did with Battlefield 1 for the next Star Wars Battlefront. Please let me know what you think about this idea, good or bad, or do you have any other suggestions for your own custom games that you would like to see in the game. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.